So the lighting in here is trash. I'm sorry, I just don't have professional lighting. So we're just gonna get started. I have a headband. I'm gonna pull back all of my hair so it's out of my face. I do my makeup in the order that I was told by a few professionals. We're gonna go by that. So what I'm going to start with is concealer. This is by CoverGirl Outlast All Day, and it's a fair 810 Claire concealer. This is what it looks like. Let's see. It's just that, and then you squeeze it at the top and it comes out. I gotta use all that product now that it's out. So here is, I have a mirror right here, so that's where I'm gonna be looking the majority of the time so I don't stab myself in the eye. Now I use concealer mostly for underneath my eyes, for the bags underneath my eyes. Other than that, I do sometimes use it for redness in my skin, or just the fact that I have acne that just doesn't look good. So I am blending in with my fingers. What I've been told and taught by these professionals is that you never want to drag down the skin. You always want to bring up and very gently. You don't want to rub it in too hard. So I was told this just because sorry, I can't really focus. You're supposed to use your middle finger just because it doesn't like happen to be as rough as your forefinger, I think that's what it's called. You're supposed to lift up because it's supposed to bring up the skin instead of sagging it down. The older you get, the more wrinkles you have because of smiling, creasing eyes, just like the crease right there, just lines that you have in your face every day from the muscles that are in your face. You don't want to drag it down more than it is already being dragged down by natural forces in your face. That is basically what I've been taught. I do have to get more concealer for my eyelids. I did not do that, so I'm gonna go back in and do my eyelids. I do have to be careful with the creases in my eyes, well, in my eyes, right, on my eyelid, because sometimes the concealer hides it, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so now that I have the concealer out of the way, I want to start on foundation. This is Ultra Natural Finish. It's by Revlon Colorstay. It's 24 hours. It's number 135. Vanilla for normal dry skin, even though that's not me. I get really oily skin. I just couldn't find one at TJ Maxx that was my color and was for oily skin. Makeup is really expensive when you don't know where you're looking. They just didn't have it available. I had to get it at the time. So this is what I got so far. Your girl is on a budget. So usually I do a triangle foam piece, and I only do one squirt. Cool, now that you saw it, usually what I do, since this is a little much to be just putting on your face, I dab it with my finger and put it in the places that I want it to be in. And then I use this to blot it in. And I don't be rough with it, because that is not what you're supposed to be doing. And if it does not blot in completely by itself with the sponge, I do want to just like rub it very gently to remove its little spot it's got going on my face. I do want to kind of drag it into the hairline a little bit, only because you don't want to leave your hairline at a place, at least very close to it, because your skin's a different color than your foundation. Sorry to break it to you. So, plus right here on this side of my face, I do have a vein that goes right there. It's very pigmented. We ain't Harry Potter, and I'm trying not to be like that, so I kind of conceal it a little bit with the foundation. I don't go out of my way to use the concealer to conceal it because, for one, it doesn't work. I've tried. And two, foundation works better. Usually, if this isn't enough, I do a little bit more. I don't even do half a squirt of the foundation because I didn't get my nose. My nose is pinker than the rest of my face, and I don't want to miss it. And usually, if there is a little bit more on my sponge, I do want to kind of bring it onto the neck because I don't want my neck to be a different color than my face, vice versa. So I want to use the rest to my advantage, as you should not waste makeup anyway. So the next thing I'm going to use is the translucent powder. It's not a powder, it's a compact powder. Not a loose powder is what I meant to say, but I use Super CC. It's a physician's formula. It was like blue, yellow, and orange, I think. No. So it was green, pink, and yellow. The pink out of it is kind of still there, but it's not there just anymore. And then it comes with two little sections. It comes with a mirror, the compact mirror, and a little brush. I use this brush for this product, so I don't really touch any of my brushes. So I'm going to just use this, and usually you start from the top down. I start wherever I want because in the end it gets the job done no matter how you do it. But for your sake, I'm trying to do things correctly in that sense. So we're going to start from the top down to the very bottom. So I'm going to start with the forehead. I'm not really sure what color this is. Oh, before I go any further, this is a light powder. It's color correction and care CC powder, SPF 30, broad spectrum sunscreen, and that is what is on the back. There you go. I already did something incorrectly. If you can catch it, let me know. I'm gonna avoid the eyes last, even though you're supposed to go from top to bottom, avoiding them for last. I did my neck just to even it up. Now I'm gonna do my eyes, well, underneath my eyes. The only reason I save this for last is because it's a different motion than what I was doing before. Okay, so now the powder is done. I do then use some bronze. This is kind of like the same, it's the same Physicians formula. It's Argan Wear Ultra Nourishing Argan Oil Bronzer. It's a light bronzer as well. So let's see if we can get it focused. There you go. Now I only use this where I contour. If you use it somewhere else, no judge. This is just how I do my makeup. So I use it here. Oh, and it came with a brush, if you didn't notice. It does leave like an orangey tint to it, which I'm not completely a fan of, to be honest. So I do kind of contour over it, and if you're asking what is the point of bronzing when you contour on top, I don't know. Ask the professionals I worked with, because they didn't even let me know. So I use the majority of brushes in a pack. They are from a company from one of my more recent videos, and if you haven't watched it, it's from that, and I'm not going to tell you anything else but that. So for contour, I couldn't find any at DJ Maxx, and to be honest, that was around the holiday season and everyone was there for last minute Christmas presents and gifts and stuff. So I use an eyeshadow palette that has a matte brown. I use this palette all the time, and it has 2 layers. I've always had a problem with contouring, to be quite honest with you. So if it doesn't turn out the way you like it, that is completely fine. Turns out the way I like it, and that's all that matters. Now, I find it easiest to follow the shape of that line. I've memorized where that is. I don't need to squish my face like a fish to find out. So that's why I don't do that. And if it's not exactly like the line that I want it to be, I kind of like smush the brush, because I don't want it to be like a big thing going on. I like it even. So usually it starts out dark and then it ends up like not turning out well. We're just gonna do that later now, because it gets me kind of irritated. Honestly, that's like kind of dark. But you get the idea, okay? We're going for a darker look anyway. Consider it the fact that it's photography and you need your makeup to look good, but you need to make your makeup look good in any sort of circumstances that the photographer puts you in. So in any sort of lighting, your makeup needs to be visible, so it needs to be dark. So I contoured my nose. I shouldn't say usually, every single time I contour my nose, it ends up looking like crap. So I try to blend it as much as I can, but then it just looks like my nose is dirty. So for some points it's a lost cause. So now we move on to the next step, which is blush. Oh, remember what I said about it being dark for a makeup look? Well, I don't technically have blush because that's another thing that I didn't come across. And plus, I'm not going to waste my money, my precious, hard-earned, valuable money, on something I would already have in a different makeup item, including the thing we use for contour. Same thing, does the same thing. I don't see what's wrong with that. Yeah, makeup artists out there are probably gonna hate me for that, but everyone does their makeup in their own unique way, and that's why makeup is art, and that is why you are called a makeup artist, because artists do it differently. That is why each and every one of us are unique. So what I do, I use a Revolution palette. It's a Pro HD Amplified 35 palette, and guess what color I use for blush? Take a wild guess. I'm just kidding. I use the only pink that's really in there, but I use this pink for my blush. So what I did now is highlight. We are working from bottom to top now. Why do we do that? That is yet another question I had for these professionals. But you know what? We're doing it our own way, and that's what I have interpreted that. One thing you should know about highlight is that it depends on like the type of highlight you have that will give you the desired look. For me, the only desired look I have is that the highlight shows up in the pictures. So I use Liquid Illuminator Highlighter. It's by Jasmine Labelle, and that is all I got for you. Just so you know, you already know what it says. Okay, I read it to you. This doesn't work. This doesn't work because you go in there, it's already caked with Illuminer. I'm just making up words. An illuminator, well, the highlight. Same thing. I do not use a brush for this. I feel as if it blends better if I don't use a brush and just use my finger. And then I just spread it in. Sometimes, like the eyebrows and eyeliner, each side is mainly sisters and not twins. So we're gonna have mixed feelings from both sides. So since this side is darker, I want to kind of correct that. So I will use more on this side. That is like a trend that I have going on with eyeshadow, which you'll see. We're gonna pretend that my cat doesn't do that stuff today. So I usually don't highlight any place else because if I do my nose or my lip like right there, it just doesn't turn out real. And if I do, this doesn't work, but something else does. So what does work for me is something that's already kind of disappearing. One mixed with is kind of similar. It's just a very shiny white powder or eyeshadow, and I just put it in the places that I want to accentuate, but I don't want to look stupid. Because sometimes that highlighter that I just used is too much, and I just want a subtle difference. Now that the face is done, well, not the whole face, but you know what I mean, we then do the brows, which I do have a brow pomade that is actually too light. So I'm kind of disappointed. It looks really, really dark, but I can assure you it's not. Although you might think that it is the perfect color for me, I've tried it. If for some reason after I use it, it turns into like a orangey base, and it just doesn't look good compared to what I do use regularly. And I do rely on eyeshadow more than anything else for things that I don't have, because eyeshadow can be used as many different things that you don't have, that maybe you just can't afford. So what I use is the very same color I use for my contour, is that brown. The only reason I use that darker brown is because that's the color of my root. Sometimes I do go in it just to make it blend. One thing with photo shoots is that you want your brows to be dark so they're seen and accentuated. I go towards the natural shape of my eyebrows. So after the eyebrows, I usually start with the eyeshadow. I do use my little eyeshadow applicator. It's not even a brush, it's an applicator. So we're gonna go with the maroon, and then I'll put some black at the end. Oh, by the way, I'm using this color. This is where the problem starts. This eye appears a little bit more dark than this eye because of the way I blended. So that is what I'm starting with. Just that. That is this maroon base. Now I'm gonna do a different lighter color. I usually just go for this like tan color. Yeah. What I'm gonna do with this color is blend it into the like I said, this lighting's terrible. It doesn't really do any of what I'm doing justice. So what I'm going to do now is add some black. I really hope this doesn't ruin the look, but we'll find out. So I'd say it looks fine. What I do need to do is maroon needs to go on the brush, and I usually go underneath the eye a little bit more. I don't necessarily go on the waterline. I just go a little bit below that. So to improve the eyeshadow look, what I'm gonna do is blend it. I'm not gonna blend it with the same applicator. I'm gonna blend it with a bigger brush. I'm gonna use this one just so that way I know it's not too harsh of a line. I'm not really good friends with eyeliner. I did get a liquid eyeliner, which has like a little star at the end where you can just boop on your face. We're not becoming e-girls today. So I got this not too long ago and it already dried out. Plus, it's so hard to take off if you mess up. And I have worked so hard on this look already. I'm not gonna take any chances. So what I'm gonna do is use my eyebrow brush. And it has a very kind of straight line. I'm using that as my applicator. And I'm gonna use a black eyeshadow. And I'm gonna use that to create my wing. So I tried with the eyeliner. I did. Doesn't turn out the best. So we have this going on. Now what we need to do for the last step of eyes is mascara. I do Oh So Waterproof Mascara. It's W7. This is what it looks like. I did forget one last thing. I usually use this thing in the corner of my eyes. If I'm going for something a little more fancy. Now, we are going to, oh wow, we're gonna finish up the look. See, with me, I only have a lipstick that is a pH matcher. Don't have it with me right now because I didn't plan on using it. I plan on using eyeshadow for lipstick. Shocker. I'm only doing this the only reason I'm doing this is because lipstick by the stick is really expensive, at least for me, the common person with a minimum wage job. So what I want to use for this look is probably either a maroon lip or a black lip. We're gonna go with I think we should go with maroon because that's the main color of the eyeshadow. So I'm going to take the same color of the eyeshadow and use it for my lips. I usually use it with chapstick, put on the chapstick first, but I don't really know where they are, so we're just going to go for it. So this is my look. I'm gonna take a few pictures so that way you can see. Lipstick could be a little bit better applied, but honestly I didn't try on the rest. So I'm going to take a picture. My shirt really doesn't do me any justice, so sorry about that.